This was a man who knew how to impress a woman. It wasn't just that he was decent-looking, though he was, and he knew it. It was more that he focused entirely on her. Even though they'd met only seconds before, he made her feel as if, in that instant, she was the only thing that mattered to him. She didn't know if it was natural or some form of practiced trick, but its impact was undeniable. Bride or groom, he said, or both. What? The bar was in an anteroom, outside the function suite where the disco was in full swing, but the noise was still substantial. Who do you know, bride or groom? Oh, the bride, really. I used to work with her years ago. We were best mates in those days, which I suppose is why she invited me. But we haven't seen each other properly for years. What about you? Groom, really. We were workmates too, until a few years ago. She looked him up and down. Now she thought about it, he looked like a copper. Not too obviously, and one of the newer breed, but the signs were there. CID, she guessed, rather than uniform. In the force? He smiled and tapped his nose theatrically. Sort of. But if I told you, I'd have to kill you. His tone suggested that he was perhaps not entirely joking. Maybe special branch, she thought. Not a line to pursue, anyway. Fair enough, she said. I won't ask, then. What about you? He said, sipping his beer. Police, too? Police staff, she said. Intelligence officer. Out in Bolton now. His eyes widened slightly. Right. Heading back tonight? She wondered whether she could sense the way his mind was working. Staying over. Didn't want to be racing for the last train. Staying with friends? The question was asked casually, but it partially confirmed her suspicions. No, staying here. There was no point in lying, she told herself. She realized she didn't know quite what response she was hoping for. He nodded slowly, as if considering his options. Well, that's nice, he said finally. Very nice. She wasn't entirely sure what he was referring to. It's not a bad old place, she said, and it was too much trouble to head off anywhere else. She knew she was rambling, waiting for him to make whatever pitch he was planning. Instead, he looked up and past her. It was as if he'd flicked a switch and turned off the full-beam charm he'd been directing towards her. Well, it's been good to meet you, he said. But she felt he was already talking to someone else. She followed his gaze and saw an attractive, dark-haired woman standing at the door to the function suite. The woman, who looked to be barely in her 20s, was gazing round the room, looking for someone. It wasn't hard to guess who that someone might be. And you, she said, allowing a trace of acid into her tone. Don't let me delay you. He turned back towards her, and for a moment she felt a residual trace of that extraordinary personal charm. Look, sorry. That's the trouble with things like this, always too many people you have to talk to. That hadn't exactly been her experience, but she made no response. He hesitated a second longer, and then fished in his jacket pocket for his wallet. As he turned away, he discreetly slipped a business card into her hand. Would be good to meet properly sometime. I'm London-based at the moment, but I spend a lot of time up here. Give me a call on the mobile. His tone suggested he had little doubt she'd take him up on the offer. She watched him make his way through the crowded bar, not directly towards the young woman, but as if he'd been approaching from another direction. A practiced two-timer, then. Her first reaction was to tear up the business card and drop it into the empty beer glass he had left on the table beside her. But she paused a second too long and turned it over. Not Special Branch, but the National Crime Agency. The logo. A P.O. box address. A mobile and a landline number. And his name. Jack Brennan. Along the bottom of the card it said, "Not to be taken as proof of identity." Well, no, she thought, that was the point of business cards. You gave them to other people. She knew she'd never call him. Even so, she'd taken her purse from the pocket of the smart jacket she'd bought especially for